In today's video, we'll be looking at one of the most powerful devil fruits which was awakened by Luffy, the protagonist of the popular anime and manga series One Piece. It's so insane that Luffy even called it the Gear 5, claiming that so far the awakening put him at the absolute peak of his powers. Stick around because today we'll be breaking down the details of this ridiculously overpowered version of Luffy called Gear 5, and we'll be revealing just how powerful he becomes after awakening it. Without further ado, let's get right into it. To fully understand what this final gear is all about, we'll first have to talk about its origin, and for that, we'll reference the ending of chapter 1034, where we see a Luffy who should have been decommissioned smiling with the top of his face melting. This appears to be the first place we see something about the awakening. It continues in the next chapter, where we see the elders talking about the Gomu Gomu no Mi devil fruit, which the world government has been trying to acquire for over 800 years without any success. One of the elders suggests that the devil fruit might intentionally be trying to get away from them, and that might not be too far from the truth, because Zoan fruits tend to have a mind of their own. Even worse, this particular fruit they are after has the name of the sun god called Nika. When we say the fruit has a mind of its own, it doesn't necessarily mean that it changes the user's personality or anything like that. It's more like the devil fruit has a way of selecting compatible users based on how similar their motives or goals are. This explains why the Inu Inu no Mi devil fruit left Kaido's control and ended up with Yamato because he wanted to protect Wano. It makes sense because the wolf god Zone model happens to be the guardian deity of Wano, and as a result, they were compatible because they had the same goals. It also explains why Yamato stayed back in Wano after the conflict, further proving that the Zone selected her because it knew she would remain in Wano to protect it. The whole point we are trying to bring to light is the fact that the Zone fruit doesn't change the user's personality, and that's why Luffy is still his normal self and not some altered or evil version of himself. After the awakening, we see Luffy's new form running through the sky. The elders explain that he now has a body made of rubber, greater physical strength and freedom, which leads them to conclude that there isn't any power more ridiculous. This fruit gives the user a powerful body made of rubber, which made the government try to hide the truth by claiming it was just a rubber paramecia fruit. Luffy appears to be the best pick for the devil fruit because it is revealed that the mythical Zone is a warrior of liberation. It makes sense since Luffy is the kind of guy to free people wherever he goes. We are told that Luffy's body would be enhanced, giving him more powerful punches and insanely flexible body, hence the whole talk about rubber. Luffy would be able to fight any way he wishes because of this incredible elasticity, and it's even said that he'd only be limited by his imagination. All of this makes it look like Luffy probably has the best devil fruit in the entire series, and that might actually be true when you consider that the government fears it so much. Sure, that might be the case, but the strength and utilization of devil fruits is more dependent on the user and their mastery of Haki, not just the potential held in the fruit alone. Moving on, let's talk about what Gear 5 is, which we can really do since we've gotten the idea of the awakening. And what better way to depict this than looking at his battle against Kaido? We see Luffy using his new elastic ability to increase the size of his fist, making it so large that he could wrap around Kaido's dragon form with one hand before spinning the terrifying dragon god around like some powerless cartoon character. This is a feat that was difficult to imagine because of just how dangerous and formidable Kaido is. But here Luffy was slamming the gigantic dragon into the ground multiple times like a toy. Such an accomplishment is already insane enough, but that's just a tiny fragment of what Gear 5 can really do. When Kaido shoots fire at Luffy, he does something unbelievable. We find out that not only can he change the shape of his body, but he can also manipulate the form of his environment to deflect the flames. This move makes it seem like Luffy's fruit is paramecia fruit, but it's important to remember that mythical Zoan fruits can have multiple abilities and can be similar to any other fruit type depending on the myth, making them arguably the best devil fruits. Kaido then swallows Luffy, but he just continues attacking him with impossible skills from the inside. Luffy then uses his new powers to make Kaido's body swell up like a balloon, revealing that he can also manipulate the shape of other characters, not just objects and himself. The Elastic Hero performs another ridiculous move by pushing his eyes through Kaido's eyes and pulling his nose. At this point, Kaido realizes that swallowing him was a bad idea, so he expels him from his body. Next, Luffy uses Gear 5 to turn into a giant before using the ferocious Kaido in his dragon form as a jump rope. Kaido manages to unleash a huge fiery blast on Luffy, which reverts him to his normal Gear 5 form, but the fight is far from over. Luffy runs toward the dragon so fast that he begins to fly, leaving behind a trail of fire, but that's when Kaido changes to his hybrid form and executes one of his most powerful attacks called the Conqueror of Three Worlds, Ragnarok. All of a sudden, Luffy starts to tire out as his hair color turns black again and his face starts drooping, making him look like an old man. Kaido then states that Luffy has reached his limit and he admits it. However, he refuses to give up and immediately re-enters his Gear 5 form, not minding the consequences. He tells his heart the manner to beat and instantly get refueled. Kaido strikes him, but Luffy's elastic body stretches accordingly to minimize the impact. Luffy then lands a mighty Haki-infused punch in Kaido's face, which does some significant damage. He seems to be having a blast during the fight and even declares that he will become the Pirate King after defeating Kaido. Afterward, he immediately follows up with several quick punches and Kaido retaliates by blasting sharp blades of air at him. Luffy once again ridiculously dodges the attacks by stretching out like a rubber band. He then catches a bolt of lightning and hurls it at Kaido like it's nothing. Kaido dodges and lands a hit of his own, but Luffy uses another thunderbolt to attack him. Kaido then hits him with his spike club and tells him that even his special devil fruit wouldn't help him conquer the world because Haki is more important. At this point, it's important to point out that the first Pirate King who conquered the world didn't have any devil fruits, so that means that even with Luffy's Gear 5, he still needs peak mastery of Haki to win. Thankfully, he's achieved quite some mastery in that regard. The fight continues as Luffy grabs Kaido's skin, about to fling him into the air, but the dragon blasts him with more flames. Luffy then prepares to unleash an incredibly powerful force, making his fist so big that it seems like it could crush Kaido. As he's about to smash him, Kaido performs his dragon form torch, which sets his whole body ablaze so that Luffy's fist would melt, but Luffy reveals that he will just use advanced Haki to smash him to the bottom of hell without even touching him. After declaring that he'll make a better world where all his friends can eat, his Haki breaks through and Kaido is sent flying into the ground. He manages to defeat the most powerful creature in the world and collapses in exhaustion afterward, but Yamato catches him. After such a feat, the world government, who are still so afraid of the sun god Devil Fruit, decide to do some more scheming. They know that Luffy's Gear 5 symbolizes a hero who liberates people, and this bothers them so much because they are obsessed with controlling the world, so they make it look like Luffy isn't all that powerful to prevent any form of inspiration or uprising that could rebel against them. That explains why they lied about the true nature of the Devil Fruit. It's because they don't want people to find out that there's a hero who's out to liberate people from their oppressors. Regardless, Luffy's victory against Kaido could only be kept hidden for so long, and he eventually rose to be recognized as one of the 4 Yonko. Awakened Luffy is now even seen on the same level as Shanks, who was Luffy's inspiration when he was younger. The next time we see Luffy entering Gear 5 in his battle against Rob Lucci, who has also awakened his leopard fruit. Luffy easily enters Gear 5 whenever he wants and immediately gets a face-off with Lucci, just like his battle against Kaido. Luffy uses his ridiculous elastic ability to beat him so much that Lucci wonders how he's getting so much force. After defeating Lucci, Luffy refers to his tired old man saggy form like before and leaves with the rest of his team on the vacuum rocket. Thankfully, Luffy recovers in time to face the Seraphim, who he fights using Gear 4. Luffy's side eventually wins that battle and appears to be in great shape afterward. He didn't even seem like he needed to use Gear 5. Anyway, that's what we have seen from Gear 5 so far in the series. It's the awakening of the Sun God Nika Devil Fruit, and even though it's arguably the strongest Devil Fruit yet, it's been made clear that Haki Mastery is a more critical factor. Luffy hasn't faced an opponent he couldn't defeat since awakening Gear 5, so we'll just have to wait and see if there's anybody who can defeat the elastic dude that overpowered the strongest creature in all of One Piece. That's all for this video, and we hope you enjoyed it. Like and subscribe so you can see more videos like this. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.